Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go, Light and Optics topic 1.2. I'm going to go over this and we're going to discuss it. It's so boring. I'm so sorry, guys. This is a topic that excitement is not one of the criteria, but it's important. So we're going to go over it. My internet's a little laggy today, so hopefully this video works. Okay, so we're going to talk about optical devices. There's just some straightforward notes here. Okay, I'm going to read from them. So optical devices, people over time learn that they can take advantage of the tendency of light to reflect off surfaces, refract, or bend through other surfaces, and they use this for inventions. At this point, I'd go and say, what are optical devices? What are some examples of optical devices that we know of? And people put up their hand and they say, microscopes. I say, great job. Or telescopes. I'd be like, awesome. Or they'd say, glasses, those types of things. Okay, those are all correct. Because an optical device is any technology that uses light. Do you think that includes your precious little cell phones? Yes, your cell phones too. Okay, anything that uses light is an optical device. Very, very important. Might be a quiz question. Most likely will be a quiz question. I think that might be on your quiz. Okay, it can be simple as a mirror, looking at yourself and how beautiful you look in the morning, okay, or checking out how you look before you jump onto a Zoom conference call or whatnot. Or it can be as complex as that Hubble Space Telescope that's hovering around out in space, taking beautiful, beautiful pictures of far, far away galaxies, looking for Wookiees and things like that. Okay, so what are some other that we can think about? That's where we would have had that discussion. But microscopes and telescopes and binoculars are the three we're going to focus on in class. And we'd probably be pulling out the microscopes again, playing with them, identifying some things, but we're not. So we'll start with the microscope. Okay, we've gone over the microscope in topic 2, okay, or unit 2 or unit B. So you guys should be experts with this, I hope. A microscope is an optical device used for viewing very, very small objects. And like you know, it uses two lenses, the objective lens and the eyepiece lens. Don't have to worry about calculating the magnifications this time around, but you might remember from the last unit, the objective lens has a magnification of 10. The eyepiece lens has an magnification of 10. The objective lenses are 4, 10, and 40 on our microscopes. So by combining those, we can get magnifications of 40 times, 100 times, and 400 times. That should be molded into your brains by now. Okay, so we talked about Hans and Zacharias Jensen from the Netherlands. They were the two dudes that first made the first microscope way, way back in 1595. Okay, and then the dude we talked about in science class, Antoine van Leeuwenhoek. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but it sounds fun. He experimented with the microscopes, and he was the guy that was looking at pond water, blood, plaque from his teeth, and all those little things that everyone wants to look at. And you get a microscope, you're gonna want to start looking at little things. And he was the person that came up with the tiny little objects and identified them, and he called them animalcules. I love that name, okay, because they look like animals, but they were tiny like molecules. So we combined the two, and they were called animalcules. But really, they were bacteria, protozoa, algae, red blood cells, those types of things. Okay, and it says we'll get a chance to explore. We did have a chance. We explored them more in Unit B. Next, we have the telescope. Another test question here, guys. There's two types of telescopes we're going to be talking about, okay? But a telescope is an optical device used for viewing distant objects. Typically, you think of a telescope for looking at celestial objects, looking out in the sky and the stars and whatnot. Or else there's that old Alfred Hitchcock movie where somebody was looking through a microscope and saw his neighbor killing somebody. I've never watched it. But sure, you look at things from far, far away. Okay, they do two things. They magnify and they collect light, and both of these are very important properties of the telescopes. Make sure you're aware of those. Okay, and there are two types. There's the reflecting telescope and the refracting telescope. The telescope revolutionized astronomy, so the study of celestial objects, like I said before. And people typically think that it was our friend Galileo that made the first telescope, but he didn't. He was just really, really fascinated with one. So he made one and built one in one day. And from that quick telescope he built, he discovered a whole bunch of neat things like craters on the moon and moons on Jupiter, et cetera, et cetera. So the refracting telescope, I'm going to start off talking about that. It uses a combination. A refracting telescope is an optical device that uses two lenses. Lenses bend light, refract light. So because of that, they use two lenses, one on either end of a long tube, to bend that light. And you can see by my lovely diagram that I took from the textbook here. Sorry, got an email. Lovely diagram in the textbook here. You have a lens down by the eyepiece, and you have a lens up here. Very similar to a microscope. You have one big lens and another lens, and the two of those combine combine to enlarge object. Okay, the large lens is the objective lens, gathers light and focuses it towards the eyepiece, and this allows you to see the object larger than it appears with the unaided eye. Okay, so you've probably seen some of these from those old pirate movies and whatnot, where they take that telescope and they stretch out. They say, "Land ho, far away. There's where we buried the rum," or whatnot. Okay. Next is the reflecting telescope. I actually used to have one of these. I used to bring it into school, and then I broke it, so I don't do that anymore. You can buy these. I think Costco usually sells them at Christmas time. Okay, but these use a reflecting telescope. Uses a large circular mirror that curves inward. Okay, so it's a curved mirror right here. We're going to learn about those mirrors a little bit later, what kind of mirrors those are. Okay, and the curved mirror or the curved surface gathers light extremely well. So the light from the stars that you're looking at far, far, far away, okay, they come in, and because it's curved, it causes the light to change direction and it reflects to this flat mirror. From here, it bounces off this flat mirror through a lens to where your eye would be. So a reflecting telescope uses a lens and a mirror to gather light and to magnify the objects. Next, we have binoculars. I'm sure we've all used binoculars. Okay. I typically think of them at football games, so you can, if you're sitting up way up in the high seats, you can watch the football game, or the ladies that are walking around and doing their little cheering and those types of things. So the binoculars are devices used for viewing distant objects. Okay, they're made up of two short refracting telescopes fitted together. Okay, so each of these are small little refracting telescopes, and they are convenient because they're small, they're portable. Throw them in your pocket, those types of things, and you can take them everywhere. The binoculars are also the number one tool used for one of the most prevalent sporting events around the world. Maybe not the most popular, but it's a sporting event that's found throughout the world, and it's the most universal sporting event. And it's not soccer, okay? It's not football. It's not hockey. Maybe we'll throw on the discussion board. We'll see if some of you guys can actually think about it. It's actually something that I don't do competitively, but I love doing it. That is it for the optical devices. I am going to try to do some sort of lab activity for this. And the lab activity is making a pinhole camera. I may ask some of you guys, you may want to try to build a pinhole camera yourselves at home. Otherwise, I'll try to record the results in the pinhole camera, pose some questions, maybe a little lab quiz or something along those lines. It's a fun lab, an easy lab. I wish we could do it in class. Students get a big epiphany with this lab, but we'll see how it goes if we can actually get it done. Other than that, that's it. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't have anything else to say. All right, have a great day.